away 11 megs again. You can get in the bin. We're not doing this again. I've ever told you how much I hate networking. What? How y'all doing? Fixed it. That is much better. And I really, 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 really hate networking. Really. Oh, when it works. It's great. When it doesn't, well, it pulls out your hair. So it's a good thing I've got a bit of a head start on that one. It's the same with anything that involves a computer, any kind of technology. When it's working, great. When it isn't, which piece of the puzzle has just completely decided to kind of... Anyway. The plan for today involved this. Sir, Motorola Nexus 6. Not the 6P, which I think was by Huawei, but just the Nexus 6. I was going to unlock it and put Lineage OS on it, version 18, to sit in place of my Nexus 5. That's an LG, the phone. And this is also running Lineage, but it's version 17.1. This can run 18.1. And just degoogle it and have it as like a privacy phone, okay? Just a neat little project. But I said yesterday, I'm having a bit of trouble at the moment. I'm trying to sort out the Nexus 6, but it looks like the battery's spanked in it. The battery and potentially the USB port spanked. I only spent like $30 on it, but that's going to be a nightmare. I don't think I'll stay alive long enough for me to flash the damn thing. I'm near enough set up to flash it right now. Turned it on, set up Android, and then enabled debug on it. So I've already done that bit. It's just literally hook it up to the PC and run a bunch of commands, and then you can flash the recovery and all that on it and stuff. But I'll try and do that tomorrow. I will probably brick it though, because the battery is bad. Like really bad. We'll see. Well, the USB port is temperamental. The battery is completely fucked. It's not bricked. I managed to flash it, but I'm not going to use it. Well, because the battery's cocked it? Nah. No. Something even more stupid, because a battery replacement for this thing would only be about $15. But after installing the operating system on it, if it crashes for any reason and reboots, or you manually reboot it, the camera app goes away. There's a bug in 18.1 on Shamu, which is the code of this phone. If the machine has to be rebooted or cold booted or whatever, camera app just disappears. Like, it's not uninstalled, it just disappears from your launcher, like your menus, your app drawer, whatever. It's just not there. If you know your shortcut key, you can access the camera, but it just doesn't appear anywhere else. That's a really, 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 really annoying bug. Annoying enough for me to go, we'll wait. We'll wait before I gut it and start doing the doobly-woos to get this to do the thing. But the process of this is, well, it was fun. It was fun. Flashing a phone with a custom OS is something I've been doing since the Windows Mobile days. But it was fun. It was fun. Should note, if you're going to flash a phone, an Android phone, at any point in time, please make sure you plug into USB 2. when you're doing it, because you might come across a devices error. It'll look something like this, all right? That'll come up because of USB 3. Not all the time. If you want to get the process rolling again, USB 2, and that error doesn't happen, okay? So just note that. Make sure you have an available USB 2 port if you want to start doing this stuff. Otherwise, process really simple. So, little Shamu out the box, I think that was the code name for it, was running Android 7 stock. Android 7! I don't know how old that was. I just know that's pretty ancient. Given, I think, Lineage OS 18.1, which I flashed onto the thing, is Android 11, and 19 is Android 12. So the fact that you can go from 7, which was the last supported operating system on it, all that to 12. Well, I think you can put 12 on there. You can put 11 on there for sure. I think there might be a manual update for the newest for 12. But I managed to go all the way up to 11. No effort at all. It goes all the way up to 11. Process, though, as I say, simple. Not a tutorial. Not a tutorial. You want to make sure your phone's got your developer mode and USB debug enabled. That's just go into your settings and then find like the serial number, I think, of the phone, and just fucking spam that loads of times and it'll go, you're a developer. The developer options will unlock in the settings menu and you can just go in there and enable USB debugging. There might also be an OEM unlock toggle. If you got that, whap that. And then put the phone into recovery mode. So you just do that by pressing and holding power and the volume down button on boot, and it'll just look like this. Nothing particularly fancy. Make sure you're hooked into a USB 2 port. You must do that. It'll save you a lot of headaches and a lot of thinning hair. I'm not telling people how to install the Android tools either, the ADB tools, but if you're on Linux packages, look up a tutorial. You can just download it. On Windows, you can just download and install a driver or whatever. It's really the simple to do. First thing you want to do is run fast boot devices, and assuming that your phone is prepped and ready to go, you should get like a model number on it. So in my case, I get like Motorola fast boot interface. After that, assuming that that's come up, you want to go sudo fastboot OEM unlock. Just enter in my password. And then your phone will look something like this. Follow the on-screen, the prompts. You're obviously going to want to hit yes, because if not, if you say no to unlocking the bootloader, you're doing it the wrong at this point. But you just hit yes. And then you end up on the last menu. But now your Wii phone will say, hey yo, we're unlocked. And your terminal will say the same groove. After that, you're going to be wanting to flash your custom recovery, or in my case, the Lineage recovery. Flashing your recovery is pretty standard too. Everything's hooked up. It'll change based on what recovery image you want to install, but it's not particularly painful. Once that's done though, you're going to want to erase everything off the phone. When everything's erased, all I had to do was go into the same recovery menu, apply update, and then say I want to do an update over ADB, which is from your computer. And then type in yield command to squirt the update over to your phone. And as that does it, your phone does the old magic jiggery pokery. And within a few minutes, you're done. It's not difficult at all. Not explained very well, but I don't really think I need to, because it's really that simple. There are a few issues that people generally run into, over the time when they do this, so like the whole USB 2 issue, that's a pain in the ass. And I don't know, maybe finding your phone doesn't have an unlockable bootloader or something like that. There are a few little hiccups, but research, read instructions, you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. If a nug like me can do it, anyone can do it. But it's been a really, 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 really fun little thing to do. I've been doing this since, like I say, the Windows Mobile days. And I think the first Nexus phone I did was a Nexus 1. And that was with the old Cyanogen mod ROM. Because there was a way there was something you could do on Cyanogen back in the day where you could, what's the term? Where you could basically, I've gone and forgot the actual term for it now. It wasn't a custom firmware as such, but like you could unlock the PlayStation 3 using an Android phone, so you could run unsigned code on it, which was absolutely fucking rad. And that, to me, that made the Nexus 1 an amazing little phone. I fell in love with Android from that moment. Fantastic operating system. Fantastic when it comes to freedom and being able to do your own kind of stuff on it. iOS is nice too. Walled garden. Very few things you can do wrong on it, but when it comes to just having a fun, tinkerable, hackable device, Android wins out every step of the way, man. And like just doing this and unfortunately finding that bug, at some point it will probably be fixed, or I'll find another custom ROM to put on here that ain't like Lineage or whatever, because there are stacks of them. You can spin your own if you really wanted to, but Lineage is Cyanogen. Just the name has been the changed, but being able to do this kind of stuff, get it to this point, make an older hardware last longer, degoogling phones, really cool. It's just made me want to actually grab one of the newer phones more, because obviously I'm not going to have like, you know, broken USB ports and somewhat more janky software because it is an older phone, right? I would be able to, I really want to grab a newer phone, like a Pixel 4, Pixel 5, 6, 7, whatever, one of the A models over the Pixel 4a, and install Graphene, which is a hardened version of Android where like it's more kind of privacy focused, no Google services running in the background and that. I know why Google services are on these phones. That's what most people are going to use. Would you really use an Android phone without Google services? A lot of people actually who I know who used to do the whole hardened operating system thing back in the day for privacy and all that. For me, it's not even necessarily about privacy, just it's things that I don't need. You know, as soon as you start installing things or running extra things on these phones, the batteries tank hardcore. You take all that stuff off, all the little background processors and that, the batteries last forever, even on the old phones. Well, with the exception of this, because the battery is dead as fuck. But, well, chucked, I didn't brick it, but, you know, I like I say, I get why they have all the telemetry and all that kind of stuff is for development and for the advertising stuff and all that. I just don't really like Google services. I don't really use them. I don't use my phone enough for that kind of stuff. You know, with this Nexus 5, you know, I get away with literally just using F-Droid. I can't open it because this stupid glove, but yeah, I just literally use F-Droid, which is like a custom app repository, and just use open source software on here. I can get away with that. I don't need anything else. If I can still send you a text message or use Signal Messenger or Telegram, something like that, I'm cool. As long as I can still use a web browser, this thing is just as useful to me as a full-blown Googled phone. You know, I don't really use a huge number of apps, and there are open source apps for most things that I do use on a phone. So I think the only thing I'd miss off of a degoogled phone is casting. if I had to be completely honest with you, that's it. What about like the App Store and stuff? Don't need it. I don't need it. If you want to get your like productivity back and free up your time, if you find yourself addicted to a phone, degoogle a phone, like grab yourself an Android phone, degoogle it to pull off the App Store and go that way. Like use F-Droid and only use the open source stuff, because you'll find, unless you want to install the APKs, like sideload the APKs for various apps and stuff, you ain't gonna get Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, that kind of stuff. You can if you use the web apps, but it's a little bit more effort for you to do it, which in theory will put you off doing it. So yeah, it might be something to do. I don't know. I just like doing it because I sometimes find sometimes when I have access to these apps, not only does my battery life go, like seriously, just uninstall Amazon and YouTube and Facebook and watch how, because of the number of times the apps, well, because they're not there, they're not calling home. Just those apps doing that will kill your battery life. Watch how your battery life just goes up. The time you can have your phone turned on without charging, it goes up through the roof because you don't have all these different apps calling home. It's neat. I just find when I have access to them, sometimes I do sink time into them that I don't want to. I'm holding an iPhone right now, and my screen time on this thing just from using like iMessage and stuff is redonkulous. Don't need it. Don't want it. Would happily just sit on my computer. These things are a portal to distraction that we don't necessarily need, really. If you want to use it as like an MP3 player or something, cool, go for it. You want to use it as a camera, cool, go for it. But sometimes that unlimited connectivity can be a bit of a ball ache. I understand the benefits of it. I understand the point of all the Google services and all the different apps and that, but I just don't like them. To be they don't serve, they're not very useful to me personally, and I'm a really weird use case. But it's been fun, as I say, doing that. And I really do want to try graphene. I've never tried graphene before because I've never wanted to wipe one of my current phones. When I could have first done it, I had a Pixel 3a, same with the Pixel 4a. I don't want to wipe those phones, but I'd like to grab one of the newer ones, maybe a 6 or a 7 or a 6a or whatever, and then just nuke it from day one and just go from that and see how it goes. But I've got enough old smartphones around the house to be considered a drug dealer at this point. So people just look at all the phones. Like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 phones near enough within arm's reach here. So oh, there's another one. Questions are going to be asked, but yeah, it might be worth a try. If you're suffering with like phone addiction, or you do want to try something more privacy focused, or you want to see what it would be like to try open source alternatives on a phone, just flash an old Android phone. Lineage is alright. Just make sure you grab one of the phones that supports Lineage 19 or higher, because then there'll be stable builds rather than nightlies like what I'm running on the old Nexus. But cool. So fun day, fun project. Super simple, and I made that seem really difficult. So I hope you're well, and I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one.